Hey everyone, this is Alex. This is my first YouTube video. Today I'm going to be talking about my brand new Airbnb. If I made any money within the first month, did I lose any money? And if I made any money, how much did I make? So before we get into the results of my Airbnb, I did just want to introduce myself since this channel is brand new. I guess I can start with a little bit about me. I'm originally from Minnesota, but my wife and I moved to Atlanta about 3 years ago. I still do have a 9-to-5 where I sell enterprise supply chain software to different companies who are looking to optimize their supply chains. Boring! It sounds really boring, but in fact, it's a lot of fun. So the reason I built this channel was specifically to provide guidance and different ways and different side hustles that people can use to enhance the amount of money that they're making outside of their 9-to-5. So let's get back to why you're actually here. And one of the ways that I have been doing these side hustles is through Airbnb, VRBO, and Booking.com. So I wanted to share with you some of my results from my first month ever on Airbnb. But before I get into the results, I am going to be sharing a lot of private information. So if you could click that like button or subscribe to my channel for future videos, I'd really appreciate it. So quick background on my Airbnb. It's located about 2 hours from where I live here in Atlanta. There's lots of tourist attractions, lots of hiking and camping, and it's a really scenic area. So this week we're just going to be focusing on that first month's results. And I'll actually link my listing below in the description if you want to check it out. So now let's get into the numbers. I've got a spreadsheet here that I'll walk you through that goes over my revenue, my expenses, and my profit. Okay, so here we are at my computer. This is basically how I track all of my expenses. It's a quick spreadsheet. Feel free to reach out to me if you're really interested in getting it. I can send it over to you. But basically this tracks a few different things. Here we have our monthly expenses. So this is really important. So our cleaning, any of our maintenance that we have to do, internet, if we have any garbage, so garbage disposal we have to pay for, gas, electricity, software. So with Airbnb, I do actually use software, but I didn't within that first month. And then rent, so that's kind of, your mortgage. And then if you have any other expenses, you can add those on top. So let's start off here with internet. I'm actually mooching off of my neighbor for the moment for internet because the internet company is really slow to getting out to my property. So let's talk about garbage. So garbage for the month of July, I did actually have to pay for this twice because some of these listings, remember, were also from June and then pulled into July. So this is 26 times 2, which is basically $52 total. Now gas, this is something that I have to fill occasionally, so it's not going to happen every single month, but it is something that I need to make sure that I take into account. And that was $94.98. And then electricity, so electricity was $61.52. You'll see I've already have a $208 as far as total expenses. Software, I didn't use that for the first month. Now let's talk about rent. So rent actually is included, or when I say rent, I really mean mortgage, and it might actually help if I just change this to mortgage. So the mortgage payment is actually included for that first month within the down payment. So it's actually not something that I'm going to take into account for this first month, because it's actually already included. So I didn't have any mortgage payments, but I did actually do some pest control. So I had $402 worth of pest control, and that was to make sure that the 5-star experience that I was promising to my guests, I could actually make sure that I completed that and make them really happy. So now let's talk about cleaning fees and maintenance fees. So these are basically what I pay my cleaner. Within traditional rental properties, you don't actually have to pay this because you don't have flips and guests aren't coming in and out of your homes. Usually they're much longer contracts or rental agreements. For Airbnb, however, I do have guests coming in and out, so I need to make sure that the Airbnb is clean, smells good, and is ready for each and every guest that comes in. So I do have a cleaning lady who is fantastic, and she really does and handles all of the cleaning, and then if I need to change a filter on the hot tub, she'll also do that for me as well. And so that filter on the hot tub was actually included within month number 1. It was like $52 or something like that, and a couple of cents. But in total, I paid her $1,211.38. So now what we have here is we have that entire month's worth of expenses, so $1,800. The other thing that I do before we get into total revenue and total profit is I actually have a goal profit here. And this is something that I set for myself when I originally purchased the property. This is how much I want to be making each and every month. Now that goal is $1,394.25. So this is where I want my profit to be each and every month. So let's talk about the final revenue. Now the revenue that I have is actually from 2 different accounts. So the first part was from the original account of the previous owner who was Airbnb-ing this property at the time. We did honor those guests, but I was able to keep the revenue after the closing date. And then of course I had the total revenue from when I had listed the property as well. And that total revenue was $3,901.82. So this is what we're looking for. We're looking to be in the green here. Our total profit was over $2,000 within the first month, which is just like wild. Wow. And we're $685 above my goal. The great thing about that is this gives me a little bit of cushion in case August doesn't perform as well. So those are the results. Over $2,000 in profit within my first month, which is just mind-blowing. I never thought that I would make that much. I was assuming that maybe I would make $300 or $500 worth of profit within my first month, but so far it's been going really good. So that's it with today's episode. If you have any questions about how I was doing calculations, how I was running expenses, or anything about the cabin, please feel free to reach out and let me know in the comments. So if you found even any of what I was talking about remotely helpful, feel free to hit that like button, subscribe. I'll be coming out with a new video next week, more in depth about my purchase of the cabin, all of the details behind it, going into those monthly mortgage payments, things like that, just to provide as much transparency about this whole process as I possibly can. Again, this is my first video on YouTube, so I'm still figuring things out, but I can't wait to talk with you next week. See ya. So now let's get into the mumbers.